I am going to decide to be smart. Didn't really make breakfast this morning. I do have an allergy to sunflower seeds. It doesn't feel the same, but I don't want to get up to the summit and feel worse and then have to hike back. So, well, good morning. We did not film a lot of camp last night when we got here, just because it was getting dark and we were trying to get set up and try to get a fire, which was unsuccessful. But this is what we found. Obviously everything's all opened up, but I'm hooked up here. I got the new orange hammock set up. I've got my 10-degree top quilt, which worked really well again. It's a little big. And I noticed that last night. We got down to the low 20s last night, and it was kind of windy. So while the wind was still moving around, even with the overcover on and the tarp set up, I had the tarp completely over. There was just enough air circulation that extra space, like especially in the foot box, was drawing a little heat out. So I had to keep on warming up, but it wasn't horrible. Not like I was freezing or anything like that. But I could just tell that there's cooler spots. But the top quilt, great. The under quilt, this thing, I don't know how long I'll be able to show this off. This is not what it was supposed to be. I was working on something completely different. The fabric and the insulation made it so I couldn't really do what I wanted to do with it. So I just kind of hooked up a suspension which runs from the corners here, and I've got it running up and over the ridge line to help hold it up on the sides, and then runs up to, it's almost like a octagon, which is unintentional, but runs up to another set here. I got a couple line locks to help keep it in position, and then I got a carabiner up at the top here to hold it on. And then I added a center tab here to help keep it from sagging, like under my head and under my feet. It's warm. It's a sub 10. They won't call it 0-degree insulation, but sub 10. And it worked pretty good. Same thing though. When the air was circulating around it, I felt a little colder. Now I could bring the tarp down and do like Dragon's got here with his Mama Jama, where he's got it in winter mode with the doors closed. I could have done that. I just never really have, but maybe I'll start doing that. Last year I was using all layered quilts, and airflow wasn't as much of an issue with layers. But now I'm starting to notice that. So that might be something I might have to start, just bring the tarp down, going into door mode. But the tarp repaired from Kentucky with the broken hook was easy to fix, and where the branch hit me was not a problem. So that was really initially more for wind, but last night we did get a few bouts of sleet or freezing rain. It could have been snow, but if it was snow, it was like real hard pellets, and it would blow through. And we got that when we were setting up. We got here. I just had committed to getting the hammock set up first, not the tarp, because it was like this. There was no snow. I get the first tree strap hooked up, and I turn around and head this tree, and just this snowstorm was like whoop, poof, and it just like hit me right in the face, and then it was snowing. So I quick threw that, and then we got everything set up. The boot box, I'm still unsure of it. I don't think it failed. It kept the water from freezing, but we couldn't get a fire started, so I couldn't get boiling water in an Nalgene. So I had to use a fuel cube, salt fuel cube, and at the temperature, for some reason last night we were having a hard time lighting them. But I can only fill about half a canteen of water, which means that there's still a lot of cold water in the Nalgene, so it never really got warm. So the boots were already cold, and kind of half frozen because I was in the hammock for a couple hours before I put them in the boot box, and then I got up and ate. So it didn't do great. But I don't think that was a problem with the box itself. I think it was just because I didn't have warm enough water. Hey, there's Dragon. He popped out. And then so Dragon's in there. You can't see it, but he's got the other coyote pack in there.
Now you'll be able to see it in a second.
Pulling everything back. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Yeah, so that's his Mamba Jamba setup. And those doors actually come off. And it turns like a hex tarp, so it could be like a summer tarp or a winter tarp. And this is our failed fire pit over here. We had some wood. We found some good. This wood here was actually pretty dry. And you can see there's an unburned fuel cube in there. It just wouldn't burn. Well, you can see that he's got something hanging there. But that's his. Is it called hike and bike?
Yeah, hike and bike.
Hike and bike. Mummy pod, they call that. So it's a mummy sleeping bag that they've made already with the modifications with the openings at either end, so you can feed a hammock through it, and then it completely surrounds you. So it's like a underquilt and top quilt kind of all together. And then he had quilts inside, but inside of that the green hammock is the other coyote pack, which he was testing out, because we can remove the ridge line on that pretty easy to get the mummy pod on there, which you have to do. So what you think?
So the hammock was good. I sleep in an 11-footer. 10-foot was nice. The mummy pod kind of stopped me from getting too much of an angle for my lay, but I was still comfortable. The mummy pod itself, I have Hike and Bike's 30-degree sleeping bag that I absolutely love, and I pushed it beyond its limits. This thing, first night with it, I've laid in it at home and stuff, but it did well like once I got warm. But it has like a weird collar system where it passes through the bag, and I actually think after I got up, I saw how much of a gap was here. I think I was getting a draft down this, and I think that's what stopped me from getting really warm. I mean, I was warm enough to be comfortable, but I wasn't warm enough to be like toasty.
Yeah, it was the wind.
This is a 0 degree, and we only got down to probably low 20s last night, and I should have been way warmer than what I was.
Yeah. Well, I think that the wind was causing problems too, because it was really windy when we went to bed.
Yeah,
when we got in hammocks. So.
Because my tarp isn't as low as it probably should have been, I definitely got a draft underneath me, and I could feel that right away hitting the bag. And
I think because the sag of that I put in the hammocks, you're lower when you've got a really long span here. This side is the standard suspension for the coyote pack, and then the tree strap has a 5-foot tree strap around a small tree. So you got like 1.5 feet there, and then maybe 4 feet to here. And then the hammock, and then there's the standard suspension, which is stretched out completely, and then it goes to another whoopee sling, like a sling strap up here. So that's, it was hard to get a decent height. I mean, mine, you can see how high mine is compared to how high that is. But also the mummy pod is hanging down. But
yeah, that's something for anyone that's not familiar with hammocks. The wider of a span you go, the higher your strap should be on the tree. And that's pretty much as high as we were able to get them yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, we could have probably tightened up if we would have just pulled the ridge line off completely.
Yeah.
But that ridge line keeps that sag, and then you start losing your ability to gain height.
Yeah,
but,
it stops you from over-tensioning.
Yeah, but he was off the ground, and that's what's important.
Yeah, off the ground, I was comfortable, and we survived.
Yeah.
They're all good pluses.
Yeah, yeah. So how was your first overnight backpack in winter?
Good. For me, it was a bummer we couldn't get a fire going, because it would have been nice to thaw out things that got wet yesterday. And it would have been nice to have a hot meal last night, but
let's have a lukewarm meal. I kind of got my dinner warm.
But I planned ahead though, because I mean you never know if you're gonna, especially this. I know there's situations where cold temps affect different fuel sources and everything, and I I have like non-cooked options with me, and that that helps a lot.
Yeah, I think this morning's breakfast is going to be Cliff Bars, which I should probably put in my pocket and start warming those up, because I don't know if I'll get. It's almost 30 now. I've never had problems with solid fuel before. That's really weird. I had to take those. I got those Uco stormproof, waterproof matches, those big orange ones with the magnesium that burn for like 3 to 10 seconds, and I had to hold one of those on the fuel onto the fuel cube and then move the flame along with it in the same spot before the thing would ignite. And then once I got the stove warm, I could put the second one in and I could light it pretty easy. But it was weird.
I have one of the Uco, those like little triangle like fire starters they have.
Yeah.
And I didn't bring one, but those things, I've only used them twice, but they're amazing for getting a fire going. Because you can shave them, or you can just light them like a match and just go.
Yeah, so it was just, and that was one of the things we were talking about yesterday. We're like, what if you can't get it? We were asking about getting sweaty. What if we couldn't get a fire started? And that's exactly what happened. So if we were like really sweaty and just losing body heat,
could have been bad.
It could have been really, really bad. So what happened was we were working on the fire, and immediately I could feel. I'm always kind of assessing, like, how do I feel? How cold am I? And my right boot, for some reason, was extremely cold. And I'm trying to light the fire, and I was getting hungry, so I ate a Cliff Bar real quick. And then I was just like, I just said to Dragon, I'm like, well, I'm getting in a hammock. I'm bailing on the fire for right now. I just got to get warm. So I just stopped what I was doing, and I got in a hammock, and I warmed up. Sometimes you just got to do that. If you're cold, don't try to be tough.
Listen to your body.
Yeah, listen to your body, and warm up. And then you tried for another, 30 minutes maybe.
I don't think it was 30 minutes. I think it was more like 15.
Was it like 15? And then it just, I heard him just go, well, this isn't working. And then he got in it. So, but yeah, that's what you got to do sometimes. Today, though, we've got, I know that I always point the camera towards the horizon and the GoPro never really picks up. So we got little blue patches blowing over. Every once in a while, they're gone now. When we were talking before, you can see streaks of blue coming through. But out there is dark. That is snow, or a front on its way. It might not snow, but we're supposed to, about 11 o'clock, get some snow. So what we're thinking of doing is, I guess we'll pack up, or semi-pack up.
Yeah.
Leave the packs here. Try to get to the summit. I guess we'll see what the trail's like. Oh, we got camp broken down. Dragon's just wrapping up his ridgeline, and we're going to head up to the summit up there of Balsam Mountain, and taking a trekking pole, taking my micro spikes, and I've got boot warmers in my boots, thanks to Dragon, because my boots are frozen solid, so my feet were getting a little cold while we're just kind of here packing down. So we're about ready to head up there and see what we can see. I don't see any snow up there. It's not snowing yet up there, so that's good.
Well, you never know what could happen.
Yeah. So I am going to decide to be smart. I don't know if it's a lack of food, because I didn't really make breakfast this morning, and all I had was a snack bar that was hemp seed and peanut butter and flax or something like that. And my stomach is not feeling really all that good right now. I do have an allergy to sunflower seeds. I don't know how hemp shouldn't be similar. I don't think flax is. It doesn't feel the same, but we're halfway from camp up to the summit, and we still got a 400-foot elevation gain. So I stopped, and we're just going to turn around. There's no sense. I might feel fine in an hour, but I don't want to get up to the summit and feel worse and then have to hike back. So I just telling Dragon that the older I get, I try to be a little smarter about things like that. So just gonna turn, heading back. We'll grab our bags, sit down to the car, and then go find some coffee. Hey, that's what it is. Maybe I just haven't had coffee. Wow, even with my spikes on, this is was sliding in the snow. This is like this. I should just run like I usually do. Well, that didn't make my stomach feel any better.
Huh? What?
I ran down. It didn't make my stomach feel any better.
That's alright. We'll get some good food when we get out of here.
Yeah. I think that might be. I think that's definitely a part of it.
Well, I know for me, I definitely know I'm a little on the dehydrated side.
Yeah, definitely dehydrated a little bit. So.
The food thing, I don't know if that's really bothering me, just because with the shifts I work, I'm used to having like really weird dietary patterns.
Yeah, but even at work, you're not climbing up a 3,600 foot mountain.
No, but I'm always active. It's like lifting like 300-pound machines and stuff.
Yeah. So here's one of the things that people don't realize when you're doing winter backpacking. So you can winter hike, you can winter car camp. The difference with winter backpacking is even when you're warm in your hammock or your tent, right? It's your body that's creating that heat. It's not an artificial source, and your body can relax. So even though you're warm and you're sleeping, your body is constantly burning energy, trying to stay warm, generating that heat. So what time we get here? Like noon yesterday, right?
Yeah, we actually hit trail at 12:30, I believe.
So
no,
12.
We got here at 12:30.
Yeah. So we've been like 20 hours now out in the woods. And for 20 hours, our bodies have been generating all the heat that we felt. So you burn through a lot more calories in the winter, even if you're just sitting still, just because your body's trying to stay warm. So I think that combined with that, I just put the pole down, and there's just nothing underneath the snow there. So look how far down it went. I was like, woo! I felt like Mr. Peanut for a second. Yeah, so all I had to eat yesterday was, I had like a Cliff Bar. We ate breakfast, we got some Dunkin' Donuts on the way up. And then I ate dinner at like 7 o'clock. And that's it. I had a box of raisins and that snack bar. And I've got a Cliff Bar in my pocket. Maybe when we get down to camp, I'll see how my stomach's feeling. Maybe I'll eat that too. But we don't have the water that we thought we'd have. Simply because I was assuming we'd have a fire and we'd be able to boil snow. We've got enough. We're not in danger of like not having water. We're not that far out, and it's warm enough now that if need be, we could probably start a fire. We could find a spot and start a fire, even with a fuel cube, and boil water if we had to. So I'm not concerned about that. There's also stream crossings, and we've got drops and stuff like that. Dragon's got his drops. Of course, they take an hour, but it's better than not having any water at all. But a little dehydration, a little hungry, overexerted. Well, not overexerted, but just exerting, climbing and staying warm. And this is a whole segment that's never going to make in the video, because that was like 5 minutes of me rambling about how you stay warm in the winter. I'll use bits and pieces of that probably. But this is really beautiful out here. Just the snow on the trees like this. And we stopped a couple times. We were listening to the wind coming across the valley and over in the other mountain. And there's one spot directly across from us out there. And I don't know if the microphone's going to pick that up. But it sounds like it's coming right over that peak, or maybe through that little gap between the two hills there. And it's just this constant breeze coming through. It sounds like the mountain's breathing. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah. So anybody who watches these videos, or and you think, all these guys go out and they do this, and either they're being dangerous or they just go. We are smart. We're not idiots. When it's time to stop, it's time to stop.
Or what did I tell you this morning? You make it look easy. Your videos make it look easy.
Yeah. You try to get your. I forget what he's trying to do, and he's like, "You make it look so easy in your videos." I'm like, "A lot of editing, a lot of editing." No,
that's something else to keep in mind too. Like if you think it's super easy and you've never done it before, it's probably harder than you imagine.
Oh, it's always harder than you imagine. Even doing it, it's harder. You never know what you're going to run into weather-wise. You never know what you're going to run into health-wise. You know, and not like, you know, anything major. It's just the smallest thing. You know, my tummy's a little upset. I'm not going to hike another 400 feet elevation gain to, you know, possibly feel worse. So
We're getting to the steep section.
The steep section. Okay. So, yeah. So this is the steep section. This you know what? Okay, so let's stop in as many times as we did. Probably justified in this section because that's pretty steep.
Yeah.
That's pretty steep.
That's pretty for how short it it's like the length of the climb.
Yeah. So, how's my battery doing? Oh, it's flashing. It's too cold for the GoPro. I've had you in my pocket. So I'm going to shut you down right now. Excuse me. I'm going to shut you down. I'm going to make this descent and catch up with you in a little bit. We'll watch Dragon go down first. So Dragon's got his yak tracks on. I got my micro spikes on. We're kind of geared up for some slick conditions. Maybe I won't watch. Every time I film somebody, they fall. So I'm not gonna film. We're not gonna do that. I don't want to jinx them. Yeah. Look at the trees on the other mountain on this side. Dragon, you see that?
What?
The trees on the facing side that we're looking at, okay. They're ice up on the top.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's snow on the ground, but those trees are iced over. That's probably where we're hearing that wind.
I saw icicles on some of the rocks.
Yeah, but that's actually the tree. You can see the branches have ice on them. So it evaporated, it warmed up a little bit yesterday, and then they just froze. So, all right. Okay, we'll see you in a bit. Yeah. It was a crow. That's what I heard. He was over there making little chattering sounds.
No, but you're right. Last night it was definitely geese or turkey or something.
Oh no, it was about 100 geese over there. It was like I woke up and they're just like all honking. So I looked at the map. I'm like, there's no water over there. I don't know what they're doing. Maybe there's a field or something and they just stopped. Possibly. Interesting. That's really cool. Still frozen. Alright, that's gonna go. I'm gonna have a cold butt. It's gonna go in this pocket. That's the new green.
Oh,
this is old green.
Put the seeds in a lot of different organic snacks.
Yeah. Alright. So
I don't need to put that in my pocket. Now I'm actually considering using the other way.
So we made it backpack. We made it back down to the packs. Just
like pack attacking.
Pack attacking. We're not far from pack attacking. We passed pack attacking on the way to backpacking. The beard is. I've never let it get this. I've never gone this long without trimming my beard, and my mustache is curled around so much that it's like it trips me up when I'm talking. I'm hoping to get it to the point where I can actually do this with it. You know, do little curls. I'll do a video with that. But we made it back to our backpacks, and surprise, nobody bothered them. One thing I've talked to a lot of people who are concerned about that. Like, oh, if we leave our packs, is something going to happen to them?
In this situation, most likely no.
What you just saw in that turnaround is what we have seen all day. There's nobody around. There's nobody. You can't even hear. We heard the wind blow road noise over one time, and that was somebody who probably had an exhaust like I have. Like, it was just really loud and it just happened to get carried over. When you're in the Catskills, this is why I like it out here. There's things around. We're not far from, we're only a mile and a half, maybe a mile and 3/4 from the car, right?
Yeah, roughly a mile and a half.
All right.
Maybe a little closer to 2.
A little closer to
the junction.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the junction. So like, let's say 2 miles to the car, but it feels like you're in the middle of nowhere. And when I was out here in February, was that February when I was out here, did the first trip out here? And I sat out on that rock bald, and you couldn't even see buildings. You just saw just woods and mountains and reservoirs. And it's amazing how isolated you feel out here, which you need sometimes. So we're going to throw our packs on, head back down the car, and I think food, definitely.
Definitely food.
And coffee. I think I'll feel better after those 2 things.
We just have to decide what we want to do for food.
Yeah. And water. Well, we're like 20 miles still from Phoenicia.
Well, we could go to that awesome place that's over there.
Yeah. And then we could always head back through Kingston and come around, head down like to 84, like the normal way. Unless you want to go back the long way through the reservoirs, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
I do like the sound of that Mexican / pizza place / craft beer place / awesome.
Yeah, it's 3 restaurants in one. It's really weird, but it's really good. They bring you 3 different menus. And the first time I went there, I sat down. They handed me 3 menus. And I just looked. It was there with Rocco, and I looked at it, and I'm like, "What do you order from?" Like, 3 of the menus, they have similar items on them.
It's all one menu now.
Is it all one menu now?
Yeah.
All right. When I went there, they gave me 3, so that's good. They simplified it. But yeah, all right. So we're gonna get on the trail, and because now just standing here after taking my jacket off, I'm getting cold again. So, but yeah, we'll get moving, and I'll bring you back if we see anything interesting. So we're heading back down to the car. We got about 5 minutes from camp, and we came across some people, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, we saw some bear trails. They've been there for a while." And we're thinking, well, we just came through there yesterday, and we didn't see them. So we just got the spot. These are pretty good-sized bears, probably 2 or 3 years old, I'd say, by size. And those are from, we probably came through here about 2 o'clock yesterday.
About that.
So sometime after 2 o'clock till when they came through this morning. So it is bear season in Pennsylvania. Oh, he came down. Where'd he come from?
It had to have been on the trail. I don't know if he came up the trail or down the trail.
I don't know. Yeah, he didn't come across. But yeah. So it's that time of year. He wasn't moving fast. And he wasn't real big. He was probably maybe about knee high.
Yeah, that's a nice easy walk.
Yeah.
The way the stride is set out.
So,
like something. I don't remember.
So yeah, we had like 4. So we might have been at like 26 or 27 where we camped. Rough guess. That's about that you're not going to see him much higher than that. Yeah. So with the lack of food.
Came out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so he must have come across, took the hiking trail, and went up across there. So pretty cool. Would have liked to seen him, but I'm glad to see evidence of him. I like bears. Bears are good for the forest. So very cool. Yeah, so we're at about 20, we'll say around 2,500 feet, we'll say, where we camped. And in the Catskills, bears don't go much higher than that, usually. If there's food up there, they will. But this time of year, there's very few people, very little vegetation. Obviously all the berries and everything are gone. So they're gonna move down a little bit lower. And the reasons for that are there's more food, A, but in the spring when they wake up, they won't have as far to go to find food because everything starts growing in the valleys before it starts growing up on the mountains. So they give themselves some distance. They don't want to be right on top of people because I don't blame them. And but they want to be close enough to where they'll be able to easily find food for them and their young, if they have any with them. See, when you hike with me, you learn stuff. Look at that, there's a dark strip across that mountain. That's just a pine grove hanging out there. So I would assume that up there's maybe a spring that comes out of that mountain. A little bit of water. You see that?
What?
The pine grove on the other side? Up on the like 3/4 way up the mountain?
Yeah.
Makes me think there might be some kind of spring or some kind of water up there, because you don't usually get pines growing like that just for no reason. So, alright, we're going to continue our descent. We are back to the bridge. It's coming up. So, Dragon, what did you think of your first winter backpacking trip?
It was good.
It was good.
Not much different than my winter hikes, just camping as is.
Yeah. Yeah, not much different than winter hikes, just with camping at it.
Definitely a few things to take away and learn.
Yeah, you definitely learn. And there's things that I learned last year that I've already forgotten. Like keeping a cooler with warm-ish water, like room temperature water, in your car, so that when you get back to your car and all your water's either gone or frozen, you've got some water to drink, because it won't freeze in that cooler. Forgot that. But gonna go try to find some food. Well, we know where to get food. It's not like we gotta try. We get some food and some coffee and some water.
Maybe a beer.
Maybe a beer after the coffee and water. At least after the water. Definitely need water.
No, after I'll have a coffee before beer.
Yeah, coffee before beer. And we'll call it a trip, I think. This is nice when you're in the Catskills. A lot of times at these river crossings that that can be a little more treacherous when there's a lot of water, they tend to build these bridges. The New York DEC and the Catskills, the people who take care of the Catskills, they do a tremendous job of maintaining these trails where there's lean-tos, the bridges. They do a great job. So it's always nice to come out here, because you know what you're going to find. You never know what you're going to get, scenery-wise or experience-wise, but you know what you're going to get as far as the trails. You know that they're going to be in pretty good condition. So I always enjoy coming up to the Catskills. This trip was no different. Feeling a little better. My stomach, I started getting hungry, so that's a good sign. So I'm pretty sure it was just that snack bar they had, that whatever that was. I won't get one of those again. And it was like a toss-up. I had a Cliff Bar with the peanut butter filling. I had that, and I had this other bar, and I had the new one. She just had a Cliff Bar, but it's all good. Nothing serious, but it was smart to turn around. Definitely smart to turn around. So here we are back at the parking lot. So a lot of trails will have the registry boxes. They'll have the registry books. On the cover here, you can see there's some stuff written. I'm not going to show the number, but that's a number for a local ranger. So just in case we got that number before, just in case there's somebody you can call. Oh, here we are. And it's just you put your name, and then when you leave, you just check out. And you put counterclockwise loop. We didn't do the counterclockwise loop. We went clockwise and we did half the loop. So if you liked the video, hit that thumbs up, give it a like, subscribe, comment, share. Check out Dragon Roam's channel. He'll have his video up, and he has some awesome hiking videos, camping videos. You do mountain biking. You still do stuff with your car and your motorcycle?
It's really rare, but it does happen occasionally.
Rare, but it happens occasionally. But he has stuff on there. So check out his stuff. It's always a good time to check out what he's got, and it's always a good time having as a hiking partner. Wish the other two guys were here. They missed out on a good trip, but the weather just did not cooperate for everybody. Me and Dragon, we don't care. We're like, work, responsibility, snow, nah, we're going hiking. All right, go out, have some fun, go do something. We're gonna get some food. See you in the next. If it's not completely frozen by now, and see if I can get my boots tied a little tighter, because they are still frozen. And then I gotta move around a little bit because my feet are starting to get cold. So
Yeah, it's
yeah, half and half.
it's interesting.
Yeah.